Hello, my name is Bruce Harkins. I'm a National Board Certified teacher, and I'm the Director of Bands and Choirs at Martin County High School and the Martin County School District. I decided to do my KVEC ARI grant project over smart music and its impact on deliberate practice with inside the concert band classroom. And essentially, what this comes down to is there's a gentleman by the name of Greg Goodhart and a text called The Ecosystem of Learning, where he talks about the concept of deliberate practice. And essentially, what it is, it's a process in which students engage in repetitive, small excerpts of music in order to have time to accurately reflect upon and master a given section of music, which really is why I decided to choose this for the project because my overall concert band scores at our KMEA assessment have been consistently proficient as opposed to a distinguished performance. And it's not an ill reflection on the program. I mean, a proficient rating is an excellent performance, but to have a superior performance in that distinguished rating, I was trying to get down to why that keeps occurring. And what I started to see is that I was so focused on the quality, I'm sorry, excuse me, the quantity of practice that we weren't really hammering the quality of what the students were doing in their own practice sessions. Firstly, what I discovered at the beginning of my survey was that I was a little bit disillusioned to how much my students were actually working outside of the classroom. As you can see in this chart, my students were working very minimally as a majority. As you can see, with 25 students of my 46-piece band, not very, not putting in a lot of work. And that says a lot, I think, that the students are proficient, which means that's an excellent performance. And if the students are working at this low level, it would just be surprising to me to see what they could do. So I tried to think about what I could do to change that. And I chose to use a program called Smart Music. Smart Music is absolutely stellar, as I'm going to show you briefly in the next few minutes, because not only are we going through something that it gets rid of the practice journals that I used to use. It shows individual achievement accurately. It allows students to grow, and you can monitor that very accurately. I will say this: there are some issues with microphones that we've had. That students have came up to me and performed certain excerpts right in front of me, and then Smart Music, it shows an unsatisfactory grade, which I've had to kind of go around, so that's taken up a little bit of time. But other than that, everything has been so positive with it. Um, the curriculum that I've rebuilt has been really well received by my administration. The students are they're able to get practice goals built right into the program so that they get instant feedback, and that's the most important thing, I believe, for the students. And then, of course, what this comes down to is when they sit down in the classroom, we're not necessarily preparing our own part, but we're coming in mastering our own musical part to put in the gestalt of the whole rehearsal. Um, I want to give you just a brief video of how smart music works so you can see what I see. So let's say we go through and we pick our performance method book, which is the Foundation for Superior Performance. As you can see, it loads up here, and I'm going to select the tube part. And what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at one of the technical exercises that I assigned to the students at the beginning of the year. So one of the biggest complaints students had was that they were having trouble mastering pieces on their own. And so what Smart Music does, it's going to load up the accompaniment so they can see it. And first we're going to play this with the accompaniment for the students and what they'd actually hear. So it goes through the motions. Metronome click in the back. And then what we can do is we'll turn up their part with the accompaniment so they can actually hear what their part sounds like. And the audio quality is pretty good. Now their playing assessments would be with the accompaniment, but if they want to hear the part without the accompaniment, they can do so by turning this down and taking a quick listen. And what I love about this is some students complain that they were having a hard time subdividing at slower tempo, so you can turn the tempo down. We'll turn the accompaniment back up and take a listen to this real briefly. So you can see we've slowed it down 40 clicks. And then absolutely the most fabulous thing about smart music that I love is so the student can, if they're struggling, you can click on an individual pitch and then click this other icon and it's going to show the fingering or the multitude of fingerings. So as you can see, as we go to the end here, the students were on tuba were struggling with this low A right towards the end. So there's C, B flat, and then here's A. So it's a very low pitch and then middle fingering for that. So it's really, really intuitive in terms of what it can do for the students. The next thing I'll share, this is an excerpt, as you can see. The one thing I will critique about it is that the sound files are insanely large. So when you go to download them, if you don't have access to a Google Classroom or something that provides a drive infrastructure, it's very, very difficult. Even to get the sound files into this PowerPoint was really, really massive. So you can see this is an excerpt from a student, and this is Caitlin. As you can see through this excerpt, she's doing very, very well. All of the excerpts are laid out in Smart Music, so I just copied and pasted this into the PowerPoint. As you can see, there's a lot of green in this, which indicates that the student was not only playing these right pitches, but they were playing them in the right time. An adverse example is this trombone 2 part. As you can see, we have some rhythm issues in the red, meaning that the student either played a wrong rhythm or they played a wrong note. So you can see everything that's in green that is supposed to be played, that was accurately played by the student. As you can see at letter C, I can see a big D flat, that's in the red, that's what the student played, and it's supposed to be a C, which is the black note. So it allows me to see in real time what the students struggle with, and of course I can hear that as well. But it's just reinforcing that for the grade book, which is fantastic. I absolutely love this portion of Smart Music. As you can see here, this is just with Caitlin, who's a student that I've just seen leaps and bounds for this growth-wise. As you can see through the expiration, this isn't even the assignments. I can see her practice time of what she's worked on. So for this given time period, which I don't know if you can see, it's from the 11th of March all the way through the 29th of March. I can see the days where she logged in, and if I was to click on some of these, you can actually see what she practiced. But I know that she spent 253 minutes exploring the different exercises, which broke it down into a weekly average. So she's on average, 32 minutes a week, and she's practicing about a half hour a day. And she was one of the students that was practicing much less. So she was really encouraged to practice through this. And the other piece that I think was really important, and I got this from a friend of mine who used Smart Music, as we talk in this proficient, distinguished, novice, distinguished, proficient, apprentice, novice language, sometimes the students don't necessarily think about that when they go to assessment. So this format I absolutely love because it allows the students to reflect upon their performance and give them a way to think about what distinguished is. So I performed everything correctly. Proficient being I performed most things, apprentice being some, and then of course novice being a few. And those are not big phrases or words that students have a hard time grasping. It doesn't matter if there's a student that's used to practicing 50 minutes a day, or if there's a student that used to not practice at all to 10 minutes. Those are really clear and concise words that allow them to think about how they performed. And so I feel that that was very, very effective when we implemented this with our students. And the last thing I'd like to share with you is just our students have been using Smart Music so much since we've been out for all the NTI for COVID-19. As you can see, daily I have my students logging in much more, and these numbers are just fantastic. Got some students that are practicing a lot more than others. We still have, considerable, 13 students that are just not logging in. And one thing I will say about Smart Music that's kind of tricky to work with is that if you don't have a laptop, which a lot of my students don't have, you have to really have a tablet or a laptop to make this effective. And a lot of students with iPhones, the software just doesn't run. So sometimes they're not able to accurately log their practice time. So that's a big issue there. I feel that this program is very Google driven. Google is really fantastic. It has the drive to support the software. If you have some programs that are one-to-one schools and they have a Google Chromebook for the student, all of this is just, and in fact, you have to have Google Chrome to run smart music. So it's a matter of, I think, if you have a one-to-one school, I think that you would greatly benefit from this software. And I really think that it had an impact. I wish we could have had better access through technology. The microphones were an issue, but we finally got over that hurdle and we got students really accurately recording assessments. But all in all, I feel that everything was really effective. Smart music was a great benefit to my kids, and I hope to keep using it in the future. So thank you so much for your time. Stay safe and stay healthy.